All right. Well, finally, we are live tonight. Welcome and shalom. Live on this Friday. Friday. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. Welcome on this Tuesday. Tuesday, January 17th, 2022. It's 9:50 p.m. now. I got a little bit late. I got a little bit delayed before I came on. So, goodness, I don't know what that is. Are you okay under there? Okay. Welcome, we're live. As you can see by the title, we're going over the historical errors in the Gospels. Oh, goodness. All right. There we go. All right, so right before I was coming on, I just finished. Well, that was weird. Am I even still on here? I'm not in Kansas anymore. What just happened? That is weird. Donnie's comment and my comment disappeared. Yeah, I've got all buffied out here. All right, so a couple comments just disappeared. I don't know. I got knocked off. I came back and the comments are gone. Anyway. Yeah. Hey, Grace, how you doing tonight? Hello, Buffy. You were not invited. No, is it buffering? Let me know if it continues. It's probably from screen sharing or whatever I was doing. Anyway, welcome and shalom. Good to see you, Grace. Hope you had a wonderful Minnesota day. Donnie, just got a real used dollar in the mail with a survey from Nielsen Ratings, the TV, radio, etc. statistics company. So tacos for everyone. You get a taco, you get a taco. Really? You got a dollar? Crazy. Yeah, careful with that, Donnie. It's not with exactly. So if you don't let them monitor your stuff, do you still get to keep the dollar? Yeah, yeah. It's a scam, Donnie. Anyway, just keep the dollar and pretend it never happened. Hey, get out of there. Hey, you. Black and white one, get off of there. Oh my goodness. I gotta find something to throw at him. Caleb, what can I throw at the cat? Huh? Can you get the cat off of there? He's chewing on my he's chewing on the oregano, and I'm not sure if that's good for him. Geraniums are poisonous for a cat, by the way, because I got one in my house. Hey, and that now he's chewing on onions, and I know that's not good. Hey, you can't think of his name. Bosco, get off of there. Caleb, can you go do something with the cat over there? Bosco, get off of there. You little brat. Get off of there. You. Oh. Yeah. unreal. Up here chewing on plants. And I know for sure the geranium is toxic. Onions are also toxic for cat. I have a plant with chives, and he was chewing on the chives, and dogs and cats cannot have chives. It was used, pretty sure I'm infected with the nanotechnology. I now a tool for the system. Yeah, I think you just lost your soul. I think once you touch it, that nanotechnology. Here to quote Richie from Boston, the nanotechnology. What it does is once you touch that dollar bill, it's in your body, and what it does is it attaches to the little membranes in your brain. And what it does then, it has little baby nanotechnologies, and then they have families. And before long, you got to move out of your own head. So I would get rid of that dollar bill from the government because it probably is infected and there is no cure for that. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm out. I digress. Yeah, they do watch you. Yeah. I feel like I should go buy things and pay more taxes. Yeah, they do watch you. Yeah, it's just another way to get the little eyes inside your house. Just like the Alexa. And people say, I don't care. I'm not doing nothing wrong. Yeah, well, she's taking notes. All right. Uh, as long as you pay more taxes, you're good. Taxes cure everything. Yes. That's what Caesar said. And little Caesar probably said so too. Do they cure my taco needs? No. They don't care one bit about your taco needs, but they will prescribe medications. So, uh, we have, as you can see by the title, historical errors in the Gospels. Guess what? Get this. I almost forgot. Don't leave, okay? Don't go anywhere. But I was just watching. I was just doing my dishes, listening to a debate. And guess who's debating? End times teacher is debating a guy who says he's Jesus Christ. Yes, he's Jesus. And so End Times Teacher right now is debating the Jesus guy. And I would restream it, but I don't want to copyright strike. Because I may throw one down the road myself. Yeah, so there's a guy who claims to be Jesus. And he's arguing with everybody. Yeah, the rear end stinker. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. He's trying to debate a guy who thinks he's Jesus. Not on his channel. But I'm sure I'm sure he probably is restreaming it on his channel. I bet he will. Or later he will. It'll probably be restreamed on his channel. But yeah, the guy says he's Jesus, and Times Teacher is not making fun of him. He wants to see if maybe he is. I don't know. There's like 4 people up there debating with the guy, and Jesus is not patient and long suffering at all. The panel Jesus is very, very upset, and he's getting loud, and he's angry. He's got no patience, and he just told the panel that their salvation's at stake, and they're risking burning in hell. So there's that. Rear End Stinker should debate McFraud. It would make a great comedy. Yeah, as a matter of fact, didn't McFraud say he's going to open up his the chat and let people come in and talk? That'd be hilarious. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, and guess how it started out? You'll never guess. end times teacher kept interrupting Jesus. Yeah, panel Jesus. Kept interrupting him. And then panel Jesus got very upset. They said, quit interrupting me. Panel Jesus doesn't have it. We'll never know. Oh, by the way, the real Jesus has an Irish accent. I think it's Irish. Once it gets out of the country, outside of my jurisdiction. So I don't know. Over there, I don't know. Yeah, it would be an hour of block. Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear that? Yeah, he wants everybody's phone numbers, and then he will text them the link to come up and talk to him. I'm talking about Hardy. Yeah. So he just needs your phone number, Grace, and then he'll text you the link, and then you can go up and chat. Hey, why not? He's got 0 people in his chat over a 2-hour live stream. Come on, you got 5,000 subscribers and nobody shows up? How is that possible? Something that the math is wrong. There's yeah, the math is all wrong. Anyway, so I hope he enjoyed his little trip to Dollywood today. I hope he got his eyes full. I'm sure he did. All right. He always does. I'm looking for something. All right. Sorry, McFarty, you can't have my number. Yeah, he wants your number real bad, Grace. He wants to it's just for the chat. That's all. He just needs it for the chat. Nothing else. He's not gonna. Oh, I think it's actually, Grace, you would be his type because he likes I'm not sure of your hair color, but I think I know your hair color, and I think that's right up his alley. Well, anything's up his. Let's get real. You could be bald, shaved bald, with devil horns coming out of your forehead, and he would still go for you. So everyone. Yeah, I caught myself. Yeah, but you remember. Yeah, male or female. That's right. Oh, speaking of which, you know what I just heard? I tried to click on something else and I ended up with Pockets of the Future. I can't remember what is. I don't know if that's even his channel anymore. I think it's Apocalypse. I can't remember. But anyway, I clicked on his and I didn't mean to, but anyway, I just listened for a minute and he's got this series on it's called They're Dropping Like Flies, which about Hollywood people dying and stuff. So anyway, it was one of those, so I just listened to it for a minute. And guess what? He showed a news clip. And it was, I don't know, Channel 4 or something. It was a mainstream news. And this guy is on there and he's saying, oh yes, very sad, Lisa Marie Presley passed away. She was the only son of Elvis. And he just kept on. Called her the only son of Elvis. Now, it was funny because he had just mentioned like a couple days before how he showed a picture of Lisa Marie Presley and she had a really manly face. And he said, man, she really has a manly face. And then 2 days later, the news guy says, yes, she was the only, or Lisa Marie Presley, the only son of Elvis, has died. Called her the only son of Elvis. Right after he said, boy, she looks like a dude, like a couple days later, he shows this. He goes, you won't believe this clip. They called her the only son of Elvis. So what is up with that? And didn't correct himself. Now, why would the news guy say that? I mean, Yeah, anything with them long, batty eyelashes, right? You could put him on a goat, and it would be a turn on. Or a spider. He seems to like those. Alright, um, so, alright, we're gonna get into this, or a great time for a specific meteor strike. Yeah, especially when the guy's on there, the guy that says he's Jesus, and then something, a meteor hits the earth. Nobody's believing him that he's Jesus, and then something. Hey! Doggone it. Stop it! Cat fight. Yeah. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. Where'd that cat go? Did he go under the desk? Where did he go? I saw something white flash that way, and the other one went that way. What'd you think of that, doggies, huh? They didn't like that. The dogs don't like when the cats fight. It's not that often, just every once in a while. Um, Bosco gets, he can be a jerk. So where'd the cat end up? Oh, there it is. All right. I think everybody's fine. So, anyway, all right. Hey, makeup, fake eyelashes, and that's how the guys get away with dressing like women. All that makeup and fake eyelashes and stuff, and yeah, you just never know these days. All right. Oops. My little cat fell off. I have a little cat that hangs on whatever you want to hang it on, and it was hanging on my praying hands, and I moved it. All right, so that's the plan, Stan. Not a lot tonight. We're just gonna go over some historical errors. And that's about it. Today's Tuesday. Oh, anyway, not really into this, you guys. You know what happened today? Yeah, dolls do have eyelashes. So I wake up this morning. And I let the dogs out. And it was kind of weird because we were up really late. I was doing my hallway, working on my hallway really late. We went to bed and it was probably like I was still awake. It was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and Lazarus just went crazy. Like he heard something outside, and anyway, but the snow has been sliding off the roof, so that's made the dogs bark a few times. But anyway, it was so much that I came out and I looked on. Hey D, good to see you. I came outside and I looked on came out in the living room and I looked on my security monitor, and I didn't see anybody outside. I didn't see anybody, but the dog went crazy. Just Lazarus did. Anyway, so this morning I get up and I let the dogs out, and after the dogs out, I come over. I always pray and do my prayers and stuff, and then I sat down at my desk and I'm starting up my computer, and I kind of look at my security cameras to see what the dogs are doing. And I look up and the roof on my garage is gone. I kid you not. My roof collapsed on my garage. On the garage that the neighbor ran into out by the road. And I can't believe it. My roof collapsed. And guess what? There's no insurance on it because it's uninsurable now because a neighbor ran into it. So as of a month ago, it's uninsurable, and now the roof collapsed and it's filled with stuff. So I got that on my mind. Yeah, yeah, it did. Because he knocked the wall out so far, it just made it unstable. So the roof collapsed. I'm looking on my camera saying, "Oh hell no, my roof is missing." I knew right away it collapsed. And I go out there and I looked in the window, and the roof has just collapsed on everything. But there's enough to go in there and get stuff out. So anyway, it was quite a day. Um, just a total loss. It's unbelievable. And it's not insured. You know what I mean? Now, thank God, my big giant pole barn is okay. And I got other buildings. I've got other garages and all that. But this was a garage. This is a nice garage. It was a 2-car garage up by the road. And I was using it for storage because it's nice and dry, and it was really nice. And anyway, I have it packed inside. I'll probably do a video on it. Anyway, I just went outside and took pictures of it and looked through the window, and I'm like, oh hell no, that whole thing's gonna collapse here. Anyway, the whole roof has collapsed. It's packed inside, full of stuff still. And I came inside and I just hand up to God. I'm like, God, this garage has just been horrible. No, those things are not insured. Nothing is. Oh, nothing out there is. Nothing out there is insured because yeah, I just fought with State Farm for 2.5 years on it and talked to an attorney, and he told me to probably just to sue him. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to sue him. And anyway, now the roof has collapsed. So anyway, I came in. I'm just like handing up to the Lord. I'm like, God, I have so many blessings. I gotta count my blessings. And anyway, I'm gonna not let it ruin my day. I'm gonna start working on my wall in my hallway. Go back to work what I was doing, and there's really nothing I can do. I said, God, just show me what to do. And I just got the idea. I thought, I got to get all that stuff out of there. So, Lord, just put on my heart to get my workers up here and get that stuff out. So I called my workers. Yep, they're coming up on Friday. All right, coming up on Friday. You know what? I could bum out. I could do whatever. And I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? And I thought I could have it ruin my day, or I could just say, "Oh well," and then keep working on what I got because I'm glad it's not my house. I'm glad everything I have is highly insured. But we've already had a problem with somebody ran through that garage, not insured anymore. Dropped State Farm in December last month. Got a new company. Told them I was flat out honest with them. You're gonna see that I've had a claim on that garage. It is destroyed, uninsurable. So we broke that out of the policy, and bam, roof collapses on me driving there. So, I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of money that I've already made off of this property right now. I have made an enormous amount of. I made an enormous amount of profit off this property in at least 3 years already. I'm gonna look at that bright side of it, and that's not the garage I was using and all that. So I'm gonna kind of look at the bright side of things, and I started to make a video because today God showed me, always like he does, out of nowhere. God came out and helped me, and I was making a video on it. I started crying because it was such a God thing today. Because what happened after that was, like I said, I can't even talk about it. I'm gonna try to make a video about it. Yeah, I can't even talk about it. But oh man. Anyway, God is awesome. He just came on nowhere today and just, I don't know, showed me he's there. And like I said, I tried to make a little video about what he did for me today, and I can't even do it. So I have to wait till I pull myself together, and maybe, I don't know, later tonight or maybe tomorrow. But anyway, what happened after I saw my garage collapsed, and I just handed it up to God, and I just said, Father, you've been so good to me. I have just prospered so much from this property. I'm gonna remember all my blessings and not dwell on this thing. And I'm gonna tell you what, I have recently, in the last year or so, come to the realization that I believe our judgment may or may not come after we die. I don't know what happens after we die. Nobody does. Not one person knows what happens after we die. But I'm going to tell you what, I've come to the realization that kind of something I've known all along, even before I read the Bible, that your judgment comes every day. God judges you every day. When you do good, he rewards you. And when you do bad, he punishes you. And sometimes unfair, bad things happen to you and me because they're tests from God. And I've kind of known this, but now I've come full circle, knowing the Bible and knowing things. I believe that everybody has free will. I believe that God gives everybody free will to be a good person or a bad person, to do good or to do bad. All right. And some people choose to do bad. And when people choose to do bad, there are victims. Many times there are people in their way, in their path, are victims. And that person God deals with. But the victims of the bad people, and that's what it means, because I looked so much into that. You know that saying in the Old Testament where it says God made evil for the God made wicked. Talking about God made to people to test you. Really, Buffy's back. It figures. God, I believe that God uses wicked people to test you. Am I buffering? Let me know if it's still buffering. I'll drop these tabs. But better? Okay, thanks. But so God does make the wicked. He makes the good, he makes the bad, he makes everybody. And when people choose to do bad and there are victims, those victims are being tested by God. That's how God uses to test you. Now, when my neighbor did this to me, listen, God's dealing with my neighbor, because the Bible tells you when you wreck something over your neighbors, you better fix it and make it good. And if you don't, there'll be consequences for you. Now, so that's between God and the neighbor. Okay, what he did wrong, obviously did me real wrong, horribly wrong as a neighbor. And that's between him and God. But my part of it, God used that man's bad choices and his wicked decisions to destroy my garage and not pay for it. But he made us all. And what happens is when somebody does that to me or you, now it's on my end. On his end, he's got to deal with God about not dealing with his neighbor the way he should have. and God's now watching me. Now I'm the victim. Now how am I going to act? This is a test for me. We all get tested and tried, and I believe this is a test and a trial for me. How am I going to act? Am I going to keep trusting God and do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing? Am I going to get mad and blame and cuss and wish harmful things on my neighbor? And so it is a test for me, and that's what it means. We should go over that verse sometimes because I spent an entire day on that verse, digging into it, digging into it. The Hebrew version, all of it, and that's really what it comes down to. God uses the things that the wicked people do as a test for me and you. Period. And if you're serving God and you're one of God's servants, and you're trying to be obedient and to His commandments and all that, then you will be punished when you do wrong, and you will be rewarded when you do good. And I believe that. And it's not always instant, but sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But in the always, you'll get punished. And I believe that the ones that don't serve God, don't believe in God, don't care about God, hate God, have a different God, whatever, I believe they're kind of on their own. Um, I mean, and I don't really believe that God really corrects them or punishes them really too much anything. Anyway, I mean, He might punish them, but anyway, that's the way I get. I could be angry and upset, but why waste my time when things are out of my control? That's right. What am I going to do? So I'm going to, when my guys come up on Friday, we got to shovel a path to make a chain, and the three of us have to get this stuff out of my collapsed garage on Friday. This is how it's going to be. And there's more to that story, but I'm not even going to get into it right now. Other stuff that happened today, and it just was like unbelievable. It just like as soon as I handed it up to God, something happened, and it just was amazing. So anyway, yeah. Okay, that was here for like you've been here for me. Thanks, Donnie. Yeah, Party Hardy and End Time Stinker weren't in there having a secret powwow. Yeah, keep going. No. Anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. I gotta count my blessings because I've really made out good on this property. And it could always be worse. But I do feel like these are tests and trials from God. How are you gonna act? How are you gonna act? You gonna keep trusting me? Or are you gonna curse me? Or what are you gonna do? I think that's how God feels. So that's just how it is. Anyway. Alright, so I truly enjoyed chat last night. It was very helpful for me as a person and for my recovery. Thanks, Donnie. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the chat too. Yep, I've had my fair share of all that stuff, including stuff like that. I mean, never. Anyway, what a waste of time. Years spent I wasted a lot of years. I wasted a lot of years. I'm trying to make up for my wasted years. You know what I mean? And I've really been trying hard to make up for my wasted years. And anyway, trying to always look at the positive part now. It could always be, and at any time I could always think, oh, I could have been that part when I was in my 20s, or I could be in that position of when I was in my 30s, or I could have been in my position where I'm in my 40s. They're all bad positions, really. And I was think, man, I'm grateful and thankful it's not like that. I mean, so anyway, I'm so blessed. And guess what I did? Went back in and started working on my wall again because that's what I was doing, painting and patching and making my hallway beautiful. And after I get off here tonight, I'm gonna paint. It's ready to paint. They did some kind of crappy. It's kind of funny because the guy that built this house, he built it in 1995, and so the guy he must have been in his 60s or something, 70, 80 probably, yeah. Anyway, he did a great job on this house. He thought of everything. But I could tell at the very end he started kind of cutting corners, like as he got further and further back in the house, like in the hallway, at the end of the hallway, he kind of cut corners on the sheetrock, you know what I mean? He didn't really mud it that well. And just ended up just ended up wallpapering over it. So anyway, I took the wallpaper off and oh man, he did a crappy job. Anyway, and I could tell like everything is beautiful oak. And the whole house is filled with oak trim, top and bottom of the ceiling and the floor. And but as he got like towards the end, when he almost got finished with the house, there's a couple spots where he didn't do the oak trim. And then like in the furnace room, he didn't even mud it at all. You could tell until like at the end he just like gave up. Anyway. So anyway, today I had fun. I despite my garage just collapsed with all my stuff in it and it's not insured, you know what? I had a pretty good day. Anyway, I fixed some spots that the guy did. I got my palm sander out and modded it and all that. And anyway, it looks great, ready to paint now. So I'm gonna do that after here. So an amazing friend, an example for me and many others, I'm sure. Thanks, Donnie. You're a good example too. You know, there's life after recovery, isn't there? It's so much better. That's what I try to tell people too. There's been a few people in my life who have quit doing dope and specifically meth. Meth is just a devil. It is so destructive. And anyway, I pray for them all the time because it just ruins everybody's lives and everybody around them. And I'm so thankful and grateful. A couple people I know now have gotten off of it. And anyway, everybody says the same thing after they've been off it a little bit. Oh man, life is so good off of drugs. You know what I mean? It's like, man, you got more money. You don't have to lie. You don't have to do. I mean, it's just life is so good once you get off drugs. And anyway, I just wish people that were still on meth would realize that. I mean, it's just like just quit. I promise you will say, man, I wish I would have done it sooner. Life is so much better. I mean, but so many of them won't quit. They won't quit. And people like used to hit their rock bottom. They don't hit rock bottoms anymore. A lot of people don't even have a bottom. They just keep going. I, it's like most people. Okay, I lost my job. That's it. I've hit my bottom. I got to get off drugs. Or, oh man, I got divorced. That's it. I hit my rock bottom. Nope, nope. They don't care. Divorce, no job. Take my kids. Don't care. Still no bottom. No bottom yet. Nope, no bottom. There's no. All right, what do you have to lose? I mean, it's just that I don't know. I don't know if the drugs are different these days. You know, than they used to be. But done a number of like parents don't even care about their kids. Like what? Anyway, I taught my sons the same lesson when he and his friends were playing football inside the house. My son broke his tooth. His friend broke his watch. I had my son buy his friend a new watch and explained why they were both wrong. Yeah. All done. Yeah. Taking stride. Yeah. I'll do a video. I'll show you guys tomorrow what it looks like. It's collapsed. Looks like the ends of my garage are going to pop out next. Unbelievable. You know what I was going to do? I was going to hire a mover and move that garage down over to the other part of my property. You know, it'd be like $5,000 or something. I could have had that moved and then they could have straightened it out, but not with all that snow on it. Collapsed. Anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. Yep, Grace. Good opportunity to teach some consequence and responsibility. That's right. Yeah. Crazy. Anyway. All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to the historical errors in the Gospels. Probably didn't even get to all of them either because there's a lot. I mean, there's, I don't know, 12 maybe. But, yeah. Oh, thank you, Donnie. Appreciate that. Thanks, Grace. Yeah. All right. So, all right. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. It's a wonderful day. Thank you for all of our blessings. Thank you for our fellowship. Thank you for providing all of our needs. We ask for your blessing on this gathering tonight. We always ask for um, wisdom and understanding when we read. And we thank you for all things. Praise and glory be to you. Amen and amen. Yeah. Thanks. Tell your mom thanks, Donnie. Appreciate that. All right. So I'm going to try to screen share, but you guys pulled up YouTube channels. I won't say the name of it, but it doesn't have any videos on that channel. I just use it to store stuff on a different community. So anyway, I always liked it. It's anyway, I won't tell you my name, but it goes with my name. All right. Oh, 33 degrees, Illuminati confirmed. Oh no, it's down to 31. That's warm for us, you guys. In the 30s, it's been warm, which is why my garage just collapsed. Because what happens is that fluffy snow it melts and turns really heavy, and it gets heavier as it melts. All right. So I got 12% on there. I don't think that's going to cut it. But I have my other phone here. They're ready to go. All right. Oh, come on. The phones are wearing on my last nerve, too. Oh, that phone anyway. Thing's a piece of crap. I would love to smash it with a hammer. Oh, that phone yeah, you heard it, piece of crap. 65, very human. Yeah, I think it was a 33 or 34 today. I think it was 33, maybe 34. just maybe 1 or 2 degrees above freezing, which felt warm. My dogs didn't want to come in. They played out all day. They played outside. All right. So let's try to screen share, shall we? All right. Now we're going to go over the historical errors in the Gospels, the 4 Gospels, which we are studying right now. Um, all right. Let me pull this up. Oh, got up to 80. Wow, I can't even imagine that in the middle of January. Anyway. All right, let me find the right. All right, I think this is one. Because the first historical error, which I have mentioned before, is, did Herod slaughter innocent children? Now, Herod was, a monster, of course, but this is one thing he did not do. He did not slaughter the innocents. There's no record of it. There's records of all the bad stuff he did. And they would have loved to put that in there if he had done it, but they didn't. Josephus and there's other first century historians that wrote everything Herod did. No record of this Herod slaughtering innocents. And by the way, it was in Matthew. It wasn't even in the original Gospel of Luke. And of course, Matthew and Luke are the only ones that have the Jesus as a baby, the birth, and all that. But so I believe that beginning couple chapters of Luke and Matthew are additions. I believe that they're added on. The virgin birth and because 2 of the Gospels after the original, Luke and Matthew, whether it was at the time or added on, they have the beginning and the endings were much different than Mark's. They have way much more added, including some things that are completely opposite or different or don't coincide at all with each other. Matthew and Luke, they couldn't have told 2 different stories more different. Luke's story of what happened is the pregnancy and birth of Jesus is so different than Luke. Matthew and Luke are so different. So where is he getting this? Well, we might figure it out. Well, it was maybe. All right. So and just let me know if I am buffering. I'll put this in front of me so I can see it. All right. Did Herod slaughter the innocents? Another prophecy related to the birth of Jesus. By the way, this is off of answeringchristianity.com. Another prophecy related to the birth of Jesus is the claim that the Messiah would be born at a time when King Herod was killing children. Only the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 16 to 18, makes this claim. So there's two verses in the whole Bible that out of Matthew that says this. 2 verses that makes the claim. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to, thousands of years after I'm dead, everybody to have thought that I slaughtered thousands of babies, innocent babies. It is falsely accusing the guy, even if he is horrible. they did write down all the bad things he did. So people do know what King Herod did, all the bad things. But to blame him for killing a bunch of slaughtering children when he didn't, I don't know. I don't like that. I wouldn't want to be remembered as the one who slaughtered all these innocent babies for no reason because I was jealous. Like, dude, I might have done a lot of bad stuff, but I didn't do that. Accuse me of stuff I did do, not that. Anyway, not stuff you didn't. Anyway, only in the Gospel of Matthew makes this claim, quoting a prophecy of Jeremiah, which states, "A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and she refused to be comforted because they were no more." This is not a prophecy about babies being killed by Herod when Jesus is born. Anyway, they're talking about Rachel weeping, great mourning, very specific, weeping for her children. She refused to be comforted because they were no more. Nothing to do with even the New Testament at all. There are two problems with this alleged messianic prophecy. It is not a prophecy about children being killed, and it is quite doubtful that there ever was such a slaughter of innocents by Herod. Rachel weeping for her children refers to the mother of Joseph and Benjamin, the wife of Jacob, weeping about her children being taken captive to Egypt. In context, the verse is about Babylonian captivity, which is with which the author Jeremiah witnessed. Subsequent verses speak of the children being returned, and thus it refers to captivity rather than murder. So Matthew is quoting. That's why I want to go over these sometimes. Matthew is quoting Jeremiah 31:15 about Rachel weeping for her children. That's not babies being slaughtered. She's weeping about Joseph and Benjamin, in which they were returned later. So, no, it wasn't about babies being killed. Because if you would keep reading Jeremiah 31, you would see that the children were returned, not murdered. It's about Babylonian captivity, which is author witness, which is Jeremiah. Subsequent verses, verses after that, speak of the children being returned, and thus it refers to the captivity rather than murder. And we all know who Rachel is, right? The slaughter by Herod. Anyway, to think this is some Rachel in the future, future Rachel. Rachel's weeping for all the babies that were killed. Anyway, but if you don't know the Old Testament, yeah, it sounds good, right? All right. The slaughter by Herod is also in doubt because the writer of Matthew is the only person who noted such event. Flavius Josephus, who carefully chronicled Herod's abuses, makes no mention of it. Believe me, he would have loved to write about that. His cruelty was reflected in the biblical account of massacre of the innocents. At the same time Jesus was born, he was said to have ordered the slaughter of all children, the boys in Bethlehem under 2 years old, which didn't happen. Herod was supposed to be fearful of the prophecies that said the king of the Jews would be born in Bethlehem. This challenged his authority, and thus he ordered the crackdown to protect himself. This massacre is not mentioned in any non-biblical sources. However, it's very probable apocryphal. So there probably was an apocryphy about this. And somehow it got added, clipped on to Matthew. 2 sentences. Anyway, and forevermore, Herod killed babies. Anyway, as we've already seen the stories of the angels and the shepherds in Luke and of the wise men in Matthew, are rewrites of the Egyptian mythical themes from at least 2,000 years earlier. They are portrayed in the art at Luxor. There is no historical evidence of Herod's slaughter of the innocents either. Common sense tells us that such an order was an impossibility in any case. Did Herod intend to kill the children of his friends, his soldiers, his civil servants, the tourists passing through, and so on? You know for certain the whole matter is symbolic once you realize that an attempt to slaughter a holy child appears in all ancient hero myths. From Moses, remember they tried to slaughter Moses when he was a baby. Horus, they tried to slaughter Horus when he was a baby. Sargon, they tried to slaughter him when he was a baby. Hercules, they tried to slaughter him when he was a baby. As noted earlier, the threat to the newly born Horus, the Egyptian Christ, came from Herut, the serpent. Isn't that interesting? The serpent, like the one that beguiled Eve, yeah, that's the one who killed Horus or tried to, or whatever. All right, next. Next, we're going to go into some geographical errors. Let's switch screens here. All right. Let's use this one. All right. Errors. Commenting on his Harold Liedner 1990 book, The Fabrication of the Christ Myth, on the well-known gospel story of the Gadarene swine, which rushed down a steep cliff and were drowned in the Sea of Galilee. The Jewish scholar Joseph Lieder points out that because Gadara is actually several kilometers away from the sea, that's miles, the whole instance is evidence of either ignorance or total lack of concern with veridical history. Citing other similar examples, he writes, quote, "From the evidence, the blunt conclusion emerges that the gospel writers did not know the geography and the customs of the Holy Land and did not know Judaism itself." That's very, very evident to me. They were working with source material having nothing to do with historical data of any kind. I totally agree with that. Mark makes serious mistakes in his geographical references to Palestine. He knows the Galilean place names and the general relative positions of the localities, but not specific details. Hence, he represents Jesus as traveling back and forth in Galilee and adjacent territories in a puzzling fashion. Yeah, like in one day he walks, I don't know, hundreds of miles. I mean, and some, you got to know over there it's mountains and stuff. There's only certain passage. Something might be 20 miles away, but you have to go on a road that goes around the whole mountain or whatever. It might take you 2 days. You know what I mean? Days on a horse or camel or whatever. All right. To go, as Jesus said in Mark 7:31, from the territory of Tyre by way of Sidon to the Sea of Galilee is like traveling from Cornwall into London by way of Manchester. Or I guess United States, it's like going from New York to Florida by way of Minnesota or Washington State. Anyway. All right. Again, Mark's references to the movements across the Sea of Galilee are impossible to trace sequentially. Mention of specific location near the sea are either unknown sites such as Del Manutha. that's in the Gospel of Mark chapter 5 verse 1. Oh no, I'm sorry. The Gospel of Mark chapter 8 verse 10. They went to a place called Del Manutha. It doesn't even exist. are patently inaccurate, as in the designation of the eastern shore of the lake as the country of the Gerasenes in 5:1. Gerasa is more than 30 miles southwest of the lake, too far away for the setting of the story, which demands a city in its vicinity, and with a precipitous slope down to the water. Probably all that concerned Mark, collecting and adapting pre-existing stories about Jesus, was that the lake and its water, and the lake and it had water. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Probably all that concerned Mark, collecting and adapting pre-existing stories about Jesus, was that the lake and its surrounding territories, some Jewish and mainly Gentile, was an ideal setting for journeys of Jesus and his disciples, showing how both Jews and Gentiles responded to him with faith. So they went into a mixed population. Gentiles, they thought, hey, this is good. We got both Gentiles and Jews. Jesus can talk to both of them. So that's why they picked maybe the Sea of Galilee. Because who just went over there? Myth Vision and Neil and whoever, Myth Vision guy. And they said it was all the ruins over there are pagan stuff. It wasn't a holy Jewish place, that Sea of Galilee in the surrounding areas. I mean, all that area over there, they had more pagan stuff. They had like theaters and all these all stuff for pagans. I mean, places to worship. Look at the gates of hell. Where they went at the mountain, at the bottom of the mountain. And that's where all the people worship their false gods, Pan and Baal and all that, Zeus. Gerasa is more than 30 miles southeast of the lake, too far away for the setting which the story demands, with a city in its vicinity. All right. Now, that place names in Mark cause perplexity among early readers, is shown by the wide range of variants in the textual tradition where names occur in the gospel. Absolutely. In fact, we just saw that last night. So they would say Gessarenes, and the other would say Gadarenes, and the other one would say like Dalmanutha. Well, there is no Dalmanutha, so somebody would try to make it match a different place with a D, and you know what I mean. So that's why even the Gospels, all 4 Gospels, will all have the name wrong, because they look on the map and there is no such thing, so they just try to make something that matches. Anyway, and that's why the Jewish readers are thinking, wait a minute. It's like making up all kinds of places in the United States that aren't there, or having, New York City with, a whole bunch of different names, big cities with different names that shouldn't be, and, things are wrong. Mississippi River is the, Millilippi, or anyway. So you can imagine how confused the readers were. Like, wait, what? Where's this at? Anyway, and like, what? The pigs ran down the hill into the water. The water's like 5 miles away. Anyway, so that place names in Mark caused perplexity among the early readers, is shown by a wide range of variants in the textual traditions when names occur in the gospel. Perplexity is also evidenced by Matthew, who changed Mark's Gerasenes to Gadarenes. Remember that? We even mentioned that. Gadara being a well-known spa only 8 miles from the lake. Many other examples of improbable reconciliations could be offered. Since Matthew has a Sermon on the Mount and Luke has a similar Sermon on the Plain, there must have been a plain on the side of the mountain. That's what people are saying. Since Matthew has the Lord's Prayer taught that in that sermon, and Luke has it later on the road to Jerusalem. So yeah, remember that? Now the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew is telling all kinds of stuff. And then later, Luke has it on a flat plain, but part of the lessons were actually in a different part when they were walking on the road. Whatever. So anyway, all right, next. What about the darkness and the earthquake? Darkness and the earthquake. I just gotta make sure I don't shut the wrong thing off here. All right. If I do two more of these later. All right, you can see that. Screen share. Yeah. All right. Next is historically. Is there anywhere in history about the darkness and the earthquake? And they know what day this was. It was, according to records, it was supposed to be the 14th of um, April, I think, or whatever month that is. All right. What about the darkness and the earthquake? We have here a good example of the credulity of Western man. For 2,000 years, he's been reading about this convulsion and darkness over all the earth without ever questioning it or demanding proof of it. Yet, had it happened, would not some of those able historians have recorded it? And why did they not? In regards to the miraculous events which took place at the death of Jesus, the Gospel of St. John says nothing, and those of St. Mark and St. Luke speak only of the rending of the veil of the temple and the darkness or overcasting a sky for 3 hours. The story of the earthquake, the upheaval of rocks and bursting open the graves and appearance of the dead is only in Matthew. Matthew's got some doozies in there that nobody else has. And remember, when 2 or 3 witnesses are required for truth, you don't have it here. Only Matthew has that about the graves busted open and people were walking around, dead people walking around. There's no record of that. So the story of the earthquake, the upheaval of the rocks, bursting open the graves, appearance of the dead is only in Matthew's gospel, written nearly 80 years after the event, and is therefore not certainly authentic. Of course, there's no reason why an earthquake should not have occurred on that day, but if it had really taken place, it is almost inconceivable that none of the 3 earlier gospels have mentioned it. Yeah, that's right. And why didn't Paul ever mention it? Paul had all his books done before any of these started the gospels. Paul's book, he was done. Paul was done writing, and he was dead by 65, 64, 65, before any gospel got written. So why didn't Paul write about these graves busted open? Paul didn't write about anything. If you think about it, think about what Paul wrote about. He's just on his own stuff. He didn't really hardly talk about Jesus at all. Paul had his own religion he was doing. All right, there was no Roman census. Okay, let me Wait, did I finish the other one? Yeah. All right. Let me shut that one off. Next one is there was no Roman census. And this one is kind of an easy one because nobody ever has made a census where everybody has to go home to your birthplace. The whole point of the census is to see how many people are there, where you're at, so they can tax you, what I mean? So it's all about. Anyway, and how could people get back to their birthplace? Just think of your own family, your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters, and all the children, aunts, uncles, nieces, everything. Imagine grandma, grandpa, everybody. Imagine everybody trying to go home to where they were born. Everybody in the family, everybody going different airplanes. I'll be going different places. It's crazy. And really, okay, uh, especially in the winter, when people didn't just walked or had camels or horses. All right, next is the census. There was no Roman census. When was Jesus born? According to Luke, it was in the reign of the Roman governor Quirinius during a census ordered by Augustus throughout the whole world. According to both Luke and Matthew, it was also during the reign of King Herod the Great, because there's more than one Herod. So that was Herod the Great. The problem is that Herod died in 4 BC, and this was fully 10 years before Quirinius' census. Therefore, during Herod's reign, no Roman census could have been held in his territory, which included both Judea and Galilee, the locations of both Bethlehem and Nazareth. Herod would have collected his own taxes and given tribute to the Romans. Absolutely. Lastly, the existence of a census throughout the whole empire is contrary to the practice of the Romans, who collected taxes province by province, even subcontracting the process to publicans. Yes, publicans. I think that's a funny word, publicans, because what do we have now? Republicans. Same thing, collecting your taxes. Anyway, well, spending them anyway. All right. Yeah, he agrees. Next. Throughout Luke, chapter 1, verse 5, dates the birth of Jesus in the days of Herod, king of Judea. All right, this is different. Days of Herod, king of Judea, who died in 4 BC. He wants the journey from Galilee to Bethlehem to have occurred in response to a census called when Quirinius, the governor of Syria, when Quirinius was the governor of Syria. As historians know, the one and only census conducted while Quirinius was legate in Syria affected only Judea, not Galilee, and it took place in AD 6 and 7, a good 10 years after the death of Herod the Great. And what was Jesus then, 10 years old? In this anxiety to relate the Galilean upbringing with the supposed Bethlehem birth, Luke confuses his acts. Indeed, Luke's anxiety has involved him in some real absurdities, like the needless 90-mile journey of a woman in her last days of pregnancy. For it was the Davidic Joseph who was supposed to have registered in the ancestral village, not the Levitical Mary. Remember, Mary was from the tribe of Levi, or her dad. And Joseph was from the line of David, right? So why would Mary be getting? And by the way, I still have not heard anybody. When did Joseph and Mary get married? When was their marriage? When was the wedding? Anybody? Okay, she's pregnant. They're engaged. She's at Elizabeth's house, her cousin's house, comes back 6, 8, 7, 8 months pregnant, whatever. Never even tells Joseph in Luke. And all of a sudden he's registering himself and Mary in Bethlehem for the census. And what did they say it was? He was registering Mary, his who he was engaged to. Oh, wait. Oh, Mary's in labor? Oh, we're in the barn right now. Where's the wedding? If they're registering, if they show up in Bethlehem and she's about to give birth and he's going to register as his fiance, hello, where's the wedding? Nobody ever told me. Where's the wedding? She's about to give birth and they're still engaged, and then she gives birth. Hello. But at least they got to that wedding in Cana where they got the wine jugs turned into wine. All right. So that was good. All right. All right. All right. Where was I? All right. So it was David. It was the Davidic Joseph. Joseph, the husband, or I'm sorry, fiance, a boyfriend, is supposed to be the one registering. He was one supposed to be was supposed to be registered in the ancestral village where his ancestors were from, not the Levitical marriage. Worse yet, Luke has been forced to contrive a universal dislocation for a simple tax registration. Who could imagine the efficient Romans requiring millions in the empire to journey scores of hundreds of miles to the Roman Empire? I mean, hundreds of miles to the villages of the millennia-old ancestors merely to sign a tax form. Needless to say, no such event ever happened in the history of the Roman Empire, but Micah 5:2 must be fulfilled. The error so far might seem rather marginal. The third gospel has confused a local census in Judea with a worldwide decree from Augustus. It has tried to date the story of an obscure Quirinius, whereas elsewhere, like Matthew's, its story takes place under Herod the Great. That is a problem, you guys. Which is it? It's like saying, was it under Queen Elizabeth, who was 100 years, old? Everybody, or was it under, Henry VIII? That's a big difference. All right, so in fact, the trouble goes much deeper. There's a contradiction in Luke's story. If Quirinius was the governor, the Roman census is credible, but Herod is a mistake. There's also a contradiction with Matthew's story. If Quirinius or the Roman census is correct, Herod was not king. And Matthew's story of the wise men, the massacre of the innocents, and the flight into Egypt are all chronologically impossible. If Herod was king, there could have been no census, according to Caesar Augustus. Even if there had been such a census, the third gospel's view of it runs it into further problems. Although universal registrations of Roman serious were attested in 28 BC, 8 BC, and 14 AD, and their Romans and individual provinces of those who were not Roman citizens were also attested, such a universal census of the Roman world under Caesar Augustus is unknown outside the New Testament. Moreover, there are notorious historical problems connected with Luke's dating the census when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And the various attempts to resolve the difficulties has proved unsuccessful. And then they had the dates, and you guys, the dates, they just ain't adding up, man. It just can't be. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, nope. Well, especially Matthew and Luke, the pregnancy and going to the census, it just would never happen. All right, we're gonna do one more tonight. Where are we on time? 119. Okay. We'll do one more tonight. And that one is Jesus. Now, this is interesting anyway. The temptation of Jesus by the devil. Ooh, devil. And who is the devil? It's not Hasatan, it's not Satan, tell you that much. All right, so let's get a picture. I'm the only person who happens to have gotten a photograph of Jesus being tested up in the high place. Yes, I happened to snap this picture right as I was passing by, having to catch the moment where Jesus was getting tempted by Satan. Actually, the devil. The devil. Okay. And I hope you know Satan and the devil are two different things. The devil is a mythological creature that was, of course, Greek, Roman mythology. Right, but let's hear about it. Jesus being tempted by the devil. And we just went over who the devil is recently. It's Pan, the goat god, um, with the hooves and the. It's pulling up real quick if I can. If I don't get one up without getting knocked off, hopefully. Uh-oh. So, I'd be careful when you pull it. You gotta be careful when you pull up pictures of Pan. I'm not even gonna do it because I know what they come up. He is very well endowed. Let's put it that way. All right. All right. Now, was Jesus tempted by the devil? The retirement to the wilderness may well be an historical fact, but the story of the temptation is obviously allegory to be understood in a spiritual sense, though the source of some of the details may be traced. The hoofed god Pan is the prototype of Satan, and there is a pagan legend which relates to how the young Jupiter was led by Pan to the top of a mountain from which he could see the countries of the world. Yeah, that's right. Pan brought Jupiter up, same thing, to the wilderness, to the top of a mountain, so he could see all the countries of the world. This mountain was called the Pillar of Heaven, which perhaps explains the introduction of the pinnacle of the temple into the story. Zoroaster, the founder of the Persian religion, went into the wilderness and he was tempted by the devil. Buddha also did likewise. Buddha went in the wilderness and he got tempted by the devil. And likewise, and who else, you guys? Who else did? Buddha also. And who else was tempted? Moses and Elijah. They both went and dwelt in the wilderness. And Elijah fasted Moses fasted on Sinai for 40 days. And Elijah fasted on Horeb for 40 days. Now, Ezekiel had to bear the iniquity of the house of Judah for 40 days. The destruction of mankind in the deluge lasted 40 days. And there were 40 nights in the morning of the mysterious. There was 40 nights in the morning in the mysteries of the pagan Proserpine. There were 40 days of sacrifice in the old Persian salutation of Mithra, and so forth. And I'm going to show you real quick when we're done here. When Buddha was about to go forth, quote unquote, to adopt a religious life, remember Buddha? Mara appeared before him to tempt him. Mara said unto Buddha, "Go not forth to adopt a religious life, and in 7 days thou shalt become an emperor of the world." Buddha would not heed to the words of the evil one. and said to him, "Get thee away from me." Sound familiar? After Mara had left Buddha, the skies rained flowers and delicious odors pervaded the air. Buddha fasted for a long period. Buddha, the Savior, was baptized. The sky, I'm sorry, that's heard my cat do something. Buddha, the Savior, was baptized. And at this recorded water baptism, the Spirit of God was present. That is, not only the highest God, but also the Holy Ghost, through whom the incarnation of Gautama Buddha is recorded to have been brought out by the descent of the divine power. That's right. Get that? Yeah, I'm going to try to share this. Here, in fact, here. I'm going to show you real quick. Wait. All right, let me shut this up. I'm going to share something else here. I'm going to show you where the devil came from. It is just Roman mythology, and so is hell. You can believe in the devil and you can believe in hell, but I don't. Not anymore. Once you study, especially go to first century Roman history, and you will see that invented Pan, the goat god, became the devil. He's got the hoofed feet. He plays the flute, and he's got horns coming out of his head. And boy, like I said, careful when you bring up the pictures. Don't have the kids around. They usually put a gigantic phallic on them. You know what I'm saying? Very, very freakishly giant. So, what powers does Pan have? He could display excessive speed without getting tired or injured. He had the ability to go between Mount Olympus and Earth anytime he wanted. Another interesting fact about Pan was his ability to turn objects into something else or other forms. Pan is known for possessing a great sense of humor. Huh, you mean like turning stone into bread? Huh. Anyway, look into it, because this is where the devil came from. And there's not one word about the devil in the Old Testament. Now, the New Testament, all of a sudden, he's all over the place. What happened? Well, between the last book, was it Malachi or whatever, the last book of the Old Testament, and when the Gospels were written, I don't know, hundreds of years later, in between there, this is what got invented. So, of course, when the Romans, the Greeks are writing the New Testament, of course they're going to have this goat god. He was huge. As a matter of fact, remember, Jesus and the disciples, where did they go? To the gates of hell. And what was at the gates of hell? Pan. He was one of the gods. There was like 4 different gods, and you could worship this Pan, this thing here. And there was a fire, and you just throw the baby in the fire, make a wish, and throw the baby in the fire, and all that. So this thing was like I said, it was a rock star god back then. When Jesus was walking the earth and his disciples, this Pan here was one of the rock stars of gods. Lots of people worshipped him. All right. 1:30. I think I'm going to stop here. 3, 4. All right. I got a lot more to do, but we're going to stop here. You're welcome, Grace. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. We'll pick up on this tomorrow, part 2. This is going to be I was going to put part 1, but I didn't know if it was going to, how long. I knew I wasn't going to get through it all at once. So, anyway. Change that to part 1. We'll do part 2 tomorrow night. We'll be starting Gospel of John on Sunday, Lord willing. All right. Not a passive fire, I take it. All right. My feet are cramped up because my dog's right underneath here and I'm all bundled up like a little pretzel. And he's the one making the groaning noises. Come on, man. All right. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. I'm back in the chat. All right. Yeah. So they. I should show you guys. Yeah. So that news announcer said that Lisa Marie Presley, the only son of Elvis, has died. Crazy, huh? And you didn't say, oh, I mean, let's see if I can find it real quick. I think I can. I think I can.
Elvis. Only son of Elvis. ABC's Matt Rivers has more. Just, not that I know, I just, whatever. So, one of my viewers sent me this, the only son of Elvis. And that was weird, because I was like, hey, that's a dude. And just, not that I know, I just, whatever. Just whatever it is. But Lisa Marie had a very deep voice as well. And, not that that's conclusive, but shock and sadness tonight after the sudden death of Lisa Marie Presley, singer and only son of Elvis. Only son of Elvis. Not that that's conclusive, but shock and sadness tonight after the sudden death of Lisa Marie Presley, singer and only son of Elvis. Only son of Elvis.
Do they do that on purpose, you guys? That's not an accident. They did that. Find a new place. Find myself a new place. Oh, heck no. After the road trip. Yeah. We should have a big summer party here, man. Telling you, I got some nice places to stay up here. I got a beautiful camper out there. Unless something happens to it. Right now it's really nice. Really nice. That spot belongs to the dog. Yeah. Oh, you mean under my desk? Yeah. Well, Caleb was in my chair before I came on. He wouldn't get off. I had to get all loud with him. Is this again? All right. Well, you need to come up, Donnie. Donnie is going to pick up Sandra. They're going to pick up D. So Donnie is going to pick up Sandra. He's going to go Panhandle and pick up Sandra. And then they're going to take a right and they're going to go over and pick up D in Oklahoma. And then they're going to take a left and they're going to come up to Minnesota and they're going to pick up Grace. And then they're going to take a slight right and then a left and then go north and then you'll all be here. Oh, you guys, it would be fun. Oh, Donnie, if you can bring a tent, that'd be cool. And you know what? I have a very nice military grade. It's actually I have a army tent, a military army tent, a canvas army tent, and it is nice. It's small. It's just for sleeping. But gotta be young time. Just with my bug out bag, but I don't think listen, if something happens, I ain't going nowhere. Just kill me. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't bugging out. Bug out where? This is where people bug out too. If I have to bug out, there's a problem. You know what I mean? And just think about you guys. Just think about bugging out. How stupid it is to bug out. I mean, yeah, I can see getting out of the cities if there's like war or something, you know what I mean? But just think about it. Oh, all the Christians are being chased down by the boogeyman, and the Christians have to go so they're not they don't get their heads cut off. And they're going to go into the woods because Richie from Boston showed them how to make a bug out bag, and they're all going to go into the woods and they're going to bug out, and so the government don't get them. Are you kidding? I live out in the middle of nowhere, and every night there is a drone that flies out everywhere. Every area has a drone. Look up. It's the first star, quote unquote, star that you'll see at night. You know, you know how impossible it would be for people to hide out from military. All they have to do is fly over the top of you. Oh, I'm gonna hide behind this tree. Really? What about your tent and all your campfire? I mean, people think really. Just here, this is when I realized that I went on Google Image back in 2016. I realized that everything is mapped out, gridded out. Everything is. There's nowhere to hide. Let's put it that way. There's nowhere to hide. Okay. And if they come and they want to kill me, bye. It's nice seeing you. I ain't gonna go live in a tent in the winter. So what? They can find me there and kill me there? No, I'll get killed right here with my ice water and my chair and my nice thing over here and my dogs. Yeah, love camping. Used to. Yep. Oh, this is perfect for camping, Donnie. I got ponds. It's perfect. It's like a campground up here. And listen, you can be as loud as you want. Nobody can hear you around here. And you can shoot guns all you want. I got a shooting range, a berm there. It was already here when I moved in for target practice. To the moon, Alice. I mean, Kathy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Thomas. That's right. Thomas is also in Texas. Yeah. 99% of Christians don't know what persecution is. They have yet to experience any actual hardship in America. Yeah, that's right. And you know what? McFraud was talking about people getting persecuted in India. Do you know what? There is virtually, I don't think there's any government in the world that persecutes Christians. Do you know that? I mean, people act like all these countries are killing Christians. Nah, I mean, you got, infidels, or you got private little groups killing Christians, but nah, ain't no government's killing Christians. I don't know. North Korea, I don't know. Is that even a place? Show me in United States where Christians are getting persecuted. Oh, on YouTube, somebody got called a name. Oh yeah, boy, they should make sure they get gold mansions in heaven. Oh, give them some Cadillacs up there too. They really got it. Oh boy, you got called a name on YouTube. Whew, how'd you even survive that? Did a small hole, dig a small hole, and put your head in like an ostrich. That's right. When I was a toddler, hide and seek meant hide my eyes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your grandfather had one of those? Yeah, I have a canvas military that I bought for. Um, I actually bought it off the internet. It is I think it's actually. Where was it? It was a different country, some other country military. I don't know if it's Swiss or Sweden or I can't remember what country it was, but it was a cold country. I made sure of that. But yeah, yeah. And not only that, but I got my big pole barn. Um, that holds a lot. That would be a cool place to hang out in. Anyway, well, I'll give you guys a little video of my collapsed roof tomorrow. I mean, my garage is about to just it did a collapse. So Anyway, I'll do a little video of that tomorrow. I took some pictures today, but I got up there and my boots go up about almost to my knees, and the snow was getting inside my boots. So the snow by my garage that collapsed is it's so steep right over there I could barely even walk up to it. So we're gonna have our work cut out. We're gonna shovel a path to it and unload it on Friday. But anyway, I had a little nod from God. He gave me a wink and a nod today that He's taking care of me. So I feel really good about that. I'll show you guys at some point what happened today after I saw my garage collapse. That just made me. It felt like a pat on the head from God that He's got me. So not gonna sweat it. All right, so I will. Anyway, I'll pray this out and. Get off of here. Oh, let's just go see how this is going. Hiccups now. All right. Do you want to hear Jesus? Panel Jesus?
Let me just say this. Hey, can you show us how you fulfilled the prophecy of Christ returning? I think that we all want to know, right? I think that would be very. Could you please show us that, brother?
Hello?
Yeah, Jay, we hear you. But
am I finally on here, man? I've been saying hello, but nobody didn't answer me. I was at the store. I'll get back on.
Yeah, check it out. That was ETT arguing with Jesus. Jesus himself. All right. So yeah, let's see how that turned out. All right. Well, he said he's going to return. He's got an accent. Rear end stinker, yeah. Yeah, check it out. It's on Sacramento Truth. Sacramento Truth has that debate with Jesus, the guy who claims to be Jesus with the end times teacher, and two other people. Jay from Sacramento Truth and some other people. All right, well, I'll pray us out and be on our way. We'll finish part 2 tomorrow. All right. Oh, there you go. Shut them down. All right, Heavenly Father, thank you for gathering us once again. We thank you for all of our blessings. Praise be to you. Amen and amen. Now here we go. The routine. See, they're like kind of like Spencer. He was smart. Spencer was so smart. I miss him dearly. But he always knew when I was getting off the live stream. You know what I mean? I've done 2,000 live streams, and yeah, they know when I'm getting off. All right, so good night to Donnie. Good night to Grace. Oh, give me a second. And good night to Dee. And Pinch if you're listening. And anybody else that's listening or not listening. Good night to all the people who are not listening tonight. Good nighty night to you. And anybody else? Yes, they do know. They're prophets, is what they are. They're better accurate prophet than Mick Prophet is. All right, love, prayers, blessings, you too, Grace. I hope you're feeling better too. Hope everybody is. Thanks for coming on and joining us tonight, everybody. I appreciate it. Appreciate anybody that comes. God bless each and every one of you. Praise and glory to God. Hallelujah. Yes, they are the fur prophets, and their accuracy is astounding. Good night, everybody. God bless each and every one of you. Praise and glory to God. Hallelujah and shalom. Yes, fur baby prophets. It should be a little TV show.